Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. And no, it's not a mistake, this is very much the first video on Afcon 2023. Ivory Coast will be hosting this one, and it's going to be a 24-team edition for the third time. Now, there were a few rumours actually that this tournament might actually even get moved to 2024, but I can't see that happening because in 24 you've got the Euros happening in the summer, so that would be quite logistically difficult. But of course, the last time an Afcon was in the summer, Algeria won the tournament. So this tournament is planned for summer 2023 from June to July next year. But of course, the qualification campaign has already begun. There's been a preliminary round. You've got the likes of, Somalia and Djibouti that have already gone out in that round. There's now going to be a group stage round, and I think there's going to be 12 groups, each with 4 teams, and first and second in each group, first place and second place, the group winners and the runners-up will qualify directly to Afcon 2023 in Ivory Coast. Now, of course, Ivory Coast, as the hosts, have already qualified for the tournament, and to decide what group Algeria go in, there will be a group stage draw, I believe, on Tuesday the 19th of April at 6:30, and I think this one is even taking place in South Africa. So the group stage draw for the Afcon qualification 2023 taking place on the 19th of April in the afternoon. Now, in terms of when these qualifiers will be played, originally we were going to have 4 out of 6 group games were going to take place this year in June. They were going to do 4 already. That's now changed. The teams that have gone to the World Cup have argued, and they said we need time to play friendly. So instead, we're going to have the first 2 Afcon qualifiers will be taking place in June this year. The second 2 qualifiers will be taking place in September this year, and then the 5th and 6th qualifying game will take place in March 2023 before the tournament kicks off in June 2023. So we've got 3 windows of 2 qualifiers each, and hopefully Algeria, inshallah, are going to qualify for this tournament. Usually I'd say it'd be incredibly easy, but after what's happened, losing to Equatorial Guinea, drawing to Sierra Leone, and these are teams we can get again, by the way, in this draw. I'm not taking anything for granted right now, and of course it's Senegal who now go into this tournament as the reigning champions. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at each pot. We've got 48 teams this time, and then we're going to work out the best possible scenario for Algeria and the worst possible scenario for Algeria. So let's start off with pot 1. So in pot 1, it's the usual suspects. You've got Senegal, Morocco, Nigeria, Egypt, Tunisia, Cameroon, Algeria, that's us, Mali, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and DR Congo. So of course, Algeria can't get any of the other 11 big nations. They can't get the hosts, Ivory Coast, in their group. So we're going to be seeded as pot 1 for this draw, which is good. We avoid all the big hitters. On paper, Algeria shouldn't have any problem qualifying for this Afcon, but trust me, I've grown up seeing Algeria, I think 06, 08, not even making Afcons. I know there were less teams then, but I never take it for granted. You never know what's going to happen. You look at the last Afcon, the likes of DR Congo, South Africa, not even making it. So you never know what happens. It is down to the luck of the draw. So good news is we can't get any of those teams. But in pot 2, this is where our hardest opponents will be coming out of. So in pot 2, Algeria will get one of these teams. South Africa, Cape Verde, Guinea, Gabon, Benin, Uganda, Zambia, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, who we had in Afcon, Madagascar, Kenya, and Sierra Leone, who we also had in Afcon. So again, I wouldn't really want to go away to any of those grounds, to be honest. Especially in the heat, it will be an afternoon kickoff. So those will be some tough games. And then in pot 3, you've got Namibia, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, Niger, Libya, Mozambique, Malawi, Togo, Zimbabwe, Gambia, Angola, and Comoros, who of course just had that great Afcon performance. Comoros got further than Algeria did. And then in pot 4, you're expecting some, well, again, I don't think it's the worst pot 4 in the world. I think African football's a lot closer now than it used to be. It used to have a big distance between sort of your big nations and your small nations. We used to batter the likes of Tanzania 7-0 in Bleeder. Now I think it's a lot closer. So you have got Tanzania, you've got Central African Republic, you've got the likes of Kondogbia, you've got Sudan, you've got a good generation coming through, you've got Rwanda, you've got Burundi, who were at Afcon recently, Ethiopia, Eswatini, Lesotho, Botswana, Liberia, South Sudan, and Sao Tome and Principe. So looking at these pots, obviously Algeria come out of pot 1. the best possible scenario for me in pot 2, and I'm not taking anything for granted. You know, South Africa's tough. There's some tough games in there. Zambia have got Dakar. But for me, I'd take Kenya. Why? Because I think it's the weakest Kenya have been for a while. We beat Kenya recently when we won Afcon in the first game. And I wouldn't mind going to Nairobi. And the Kenyans will disagree, I'm sure. I'd take Kenya from pot 2. In pot 3, I'd take Niger, because we just had them in the World Cup qualifying, and you saw how easy the games were. We beat them, what, 6-1 and 4-0. We scored 10 goals against Niger in 2 games. I'm sure we do something similar again. So I'd take Kenya, Niger, and then in pot 4, there's a few teams you could take. I'd probably take Lesotho, but the problem with Lesotho is it's a long old journey down to nearly South Africa. So I'd take Lesotho, Niger, and Kenya for me as the best possible outcome. The worst possible outcome, we can actually get a whole group of teams, of countries, that went to the last Afcon. So for example, you can get Algeria, Guinea, and I think Guinea's a tough game, right? Even Gabon's a tough game. So say Algeria, Guinea, that's tough. Then you can get Gambia as well, who got to the quarterfinals of Afcon. So you can have Guinea and Gambia, and you could even have Sudan, of course, a North African rival that also just went to Afcon. So if you have Sudan, Gambia, and Guinea, that's an Afcon group based on the last tournament literally a few months ago. So that could be a potential banana skin. And the way the team is now in transition, and we don't really know what's going on with certain players, and the morale's low, the team are emotionally low, that could be a potential, like, real tough group. So I hope for once we're going to get knifed in this group. Last time we had Zambia and Zimbabwe, which wasn't the easiest on paper. We went to Zambia, we went to Zimbabwe. There were some shocking refereeing decisions in those, and we drew both those games away from home. So hopefully a nice draw. But that's it. That's the preview for the draw. And let me know what group you want Algeria to have in the comments down below. Afcon 2023 coverage is already underway. What group are Algeria going to get? We'll find out on April 19th. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.